I will admit, when I first started this latest episode of Eromanga Sensei, I did not like Muramasa as a character. I completely disliked her. I thought I was going to start this review ranting on her, but that was not the case. As the episode continued, I went from complete dislike and disgust with her character to actually enjoying her character and liking her on screen. So I will give Eromanga Sensei that. Good stuff on allowing me to hate a character and then somehow like them towards the end of the episode. That's a rarity. Usually when I dislike a character, I dislike them for a good while. So, good stuff. Good stuff, Eromanga Sensei, for allowing me to have something like that. So, Muramasa's character. She falls in love with Masamune. And I know many might say that her falling in love with him and all that is rather forced, which I can understand in some degree. I can, and I can agree with it too. But at the same time, you gotta remember, this is a girl that kind of found Masamune through his works. For instance, what he was as a writer. She realized he was very passionate about what he does and what he writes and all that, and how he, takes care of his sister. All of these things she found out about him. And because of this, obviously, she started to idolize him. She started to fall in love with him because of his work. She became a fan, and then she wanted to love him because she found out more about him, and she just wanted to be with him. And when she realized that, the person she looked up to and she wanted to be like stopped writing her favorite series, obviously she wanted to do something. As a fan, she wanted to encourage her favorite writer in any way possible, or what she thinks is right, which in some cases wasn't a good idea, but she was trying to think of good intentions. She was wanting to help him out in the grand scheme of things. And so, I do like Muramasa's character for that, and I can understand why she fell in love with him because of what type of person Masamune is, even though he's going for his sister, which that's completely obvious towards the end of the episode, and also what, Sagirdi says to him in the middle of this episode. The point stands is that the man obviously is a good dude. He knows what he's doing, he has his life together, he knows what he wants to do with his life, and that is something that many would probably like about him. And so I could see why Muramasa might fall in love with him, and fall in love with him and love at first sight. I mean, like I've said in many other romance series and stuff like that, love is illogical. It just happens. You cannot put logic on love. That's just how it works. And so, her falling in love with him makes sense. It does, because just love is illogical. And regardless of all of that, though, we have to talk about the situation with how she was willing to go as far as to take care of him and his sister. That was something that truly surprised me, because not many are willing to go that far. When she said, I want you just to write for me, and I'll give you all my royalties and stuff, like money, and just keep writing for me, I was like, yo, what the hell? Like, she's going to help out Masamune, help out his sister, make sure they're fine and all that, if he just continues writing just for her. That was adorable, very sweet, and in some cases kind of messed up, but it was very sweet just to see how she was saying something like that, and that was the reason behind what she wanted to do. And in this case, I understand the message of her backstory now. When she was talking about what got her into writing or how she views her work, it makes a lot of sense. When you're a writer and you're writing your, book or whatever, obviously you should go all in. You should go 100% into your book or whatever you're writing. That's just how you should always tackle life in general. Not just actually writing, just life in general. You should always go all the way. You shouldn't half-ass life. And so, basically, when she was writing, she went all in. And when she was done with her book, she was 100% satisfied with it. For instance, she was happy with what it was. She didn't care about the title, but she was happy with what she wrote. She thought of it as if it was a perfect 10 out of 10. That's exactly how she viewed her book. But the thing is when it comes to fans, people writing her letters and stuff, obviously because of the enjoyment value and how much they loved reading it, their enjoyment might succeed that 10 out of 10 status. It might transcend, masterpiece quality, or this is, godlike writing. And I've said certain similar things to this, holy crap, this is an amazing series, or whatever, better than a 10 out of 10. I've said that quite a few times in the past, and that's a very similar case to this. For instance, a fan reading her work loved what she had, and she was very shocked and amazed about it. She's like, wow, I thought my work was 10 out of 10, but then someone thought it was like, 1,000 out of 10. That's just like, it surprised her. And in this case, what she had done to her is what she was feeling towards Masamune. For instance, when Masamune was writing his work and he said he felt like it was 100%, it was 10 out of 10, when she was talking about her backstory and how a fan told her work was like 1,000,000 out of 100, basically, that's how she felt about Masamune. She felt that his work was way above a perfect 10 out of 10. So that is some pretty cool stuff, and I like how that correlates with her falling in love with him and how she feels about his work in the first place. Now, besides all of that, though, let's talk about the comedy aspect. So, Elf Sensei gets completely wrecked at the beginning of this episode, which, oh my god, like, yo, she got destroyed, which, like, even though I didn't like Muramasa at the beginning of the episode, I had to just clap there, because that was a hilarious scene. When Muramasa just gets out and is like, you sold about 2 million copies, am I right? I've sold 14 million. Sit the fuck down. I'm like, yo, Elf just got destroyed. Like, Elf is just sitting here talking a big game, like, I got 2 million copies I've sold. And then fucking Muramasa gets, I was like, I've sold 14 million. Sit the fuck down. I'm like, yeah, that was so fucking, that was savage. That was so savage what she did to Elf Sensei. And Elf just gets down and she doesn't even argue. She does not even argue. She just gets down, goes off screen. I'm like, yo, like, she got destroyed. Like, that is the most destroyed and wrecked you can get in this type of series. Like, she got destroyed. So just that moment had me laughing really hard. But then there was another good moment too. I really like that scene when basically Sagiri's like, hey, while she's, engrossed in her writing and all that, why don't you lift up her skirt and let me see what she has? I'm like Sagiri, like, are you serious? Like, usually it's like the male character that is doing stuff like this, being a pervert, but seeing a girl like Sagiri and all that, the younger sister, doing stuff like that, I'm like, it's just so different, and it's hilarious at how she's acting like that perverted old man type character, but the reason why she wants to know is because she, is a, hentai drawer, and not in this case, not a complete hentai drawer, she just does very ecchi type drawings, and I can see why she wants to do that, to get inspiration. I'm like, asking your brother to do something like that, just, like, yo, like, it's kind of messed up. It's a little bit messed up. So, let's talk about Sagiri and how she came outside of her room. Now, that was probably one of the most surprising moments of the episode, was her coming out of her room and saying how she feels about her brother, and how she's like, he's always been mine, not yours. Always been mine. Like, get the hell out of here. Get out of here. I'm like, yo, she's actually saying this. Like, she's legit came out of her room because she was mad. Like, she was really, really, really mad. And she's like, no, you can't have him. He's mine. And then he respected his sister's feelings. Like, no, I can't accept on your deal and all that. I'm working with my sister. I'm like, yo, that was crazy. Like, just her coming out and saying something like that. It just shows that she does care deeply for him. Even though, like I said, it's a little bit creepy in some ways. It's still pretty damn adorable. And I will admit, that was adorable. So, yeah. I mean, the latest episode of Eromanga Sensei, it was, how can I say it, it was a little bit more tame compared to previous episodes, because there wasn't that much fan service compared to previous episodes, like just showing straight up strip scenes and stuff, so it wasn't as bad. But overall, it was still a good episode, even though it's still considered trash in my eyes. It still was a good episode. So, can't wait to see what happens next, honestly. I am enjoying this series. I've loved it so far. Can't wait to see what happens next. So, please be honest in the comments below how you felt about this episode. Love you so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.